The New England Patriots just got sucker punched out of nowhere. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron on the Daily Patriots content. Don't miss out. All you got to do, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, hit the like button. Hoodie giveaway, Mayday, Mayday. I know this shirt, but it's a hoodie. We're giving away. Description below so you don't miss out what you got to do. So we know the New England Patriots made a bunch of big moves this offseason. Probably one of the biggest, and you could easily argue one of the biggest, if not the biggest moves they made, was bringing in Josh McDaniels for his third stint with the Patriots. Now, as an offensive coordinator, we know that he has helped win 3 Super Bowls. He won 3 other Super Bowls as he was a positional coach. And so when it comes down to it, Josh McDaniels is a massive asset. A great move that the Patriots went out and got him. And a lot of people knew, hey, once Mike Vrabel came, it was only soon enough that Josh McDaniels would be right behind him as offensive coordinator. Now, Josh McDaniels has been literally slighted, disrespected, as I said, sucker punched out of nowhere. Rankings came out the other day on NBC Sports, basically ranking all 32 offensive coordinators in the league when it comes to play calling. Now, obviously, some head coaches still do the play calling, but when it comes down to it, there's all these different tiers. You had best of the best, the Wizards, in good hands, and I didn't add all 32, but then at the bottom, it was essentially like we have no idea, on the hot seat, all these different ones. Now, when I clicked this link, I was assuming Josh McDaniels would be in the top tier. That's what I expected. I expected the best of the best. The man has led a team to 3 different Super Bowls, or led a team to help win 3 different Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator. And then again, as a positional coach, won 3 other Super Bowls. So the man has 6 Super Bowl rings. 6. Again, 3 as offensive coordinator. Now we look at this list. Best of the best. Sean McVay, how many Super Bowls has he won? He has won 1 with the Rams. Great mind. Not saying he's not. Kyle Shanahan, how many has he won with the 49ers? None. Has he been to some? Yes, for sure. And then Andy Reid, yes, we know Andy Reid has won some Super Bowls. Now, I'm not going to argue that those aren't a bad position for them. But this is what's tough. As we go down the list, and we even look in the category of quote-unquote wizards, multiple of these coaches have never even been close to a Super Bowl. Nowhere near. Now, I messed up right here, as you can tell. I was supposed to bold that and put that to the side. So the artist, that's another category. But anyways, you look at these guys, and again, I'm not going to disagree that they're not good offensive coordinators with a lot of potential. But I'm just going to throw one name out there. Ben Johnson. The man has not been to a Super Bowl, has not won when he was with the Lions, NFC Championship game. So he hasn't won a conference championship. Sure, they were divisional champs 2 times in a row. And the man hasn't even been a head coach. The man hasn't even coached for the Bears. And he's ahead of Josh McDaniels, whose resume is unreal. In all reality, looking at this list, besides probably, I would say, Andy Reid, it's uncomparable to a lot of these guys. And a lot of these guys, it's like, what the heck have you even done? And the answer is really nothing. So again, sucker punch might be a bad term. I mean, I would say sucker punch because it's a lot of times you get sucker punched. It's out of nowhere. You're not expecting it. But this blows my mind. Whoever did this, incredibly a ton of disrespect to Josh McDaniels. And granted, I know these guys probably don't read this at all. But what blows my mind is just the incompetence it has to take to literally say out loud, Josh McDaniels isn't even in the top 10, a coach who has helped a team win 3 different Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator, coaching one of the best quarterbacks, if not, I will say, obviously in my mind, the best quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. If anyone knows that inside joke, you're a true OG. But anyways, incredibly disrespectful and stupid, and blows my mind. But again, the people who write this stuff, they are not the ones, luckily, that, they aren't the end all say all. They're like, the quote unquote experts. It's funny how, like, as you develop as a sports fan, you start to see, like, there are some media personalities that do a good job representing lists like this or doing stuff like that. And there's others where it's just like you're just making stuff up. You're just like, I don't even know if this person knows half these people. Like, it's just throwing them on a list. Here we go. Like, and also to say Brian Dable literally just literally one spot away from Josh McDaniels is also incredibly disrespectful. This is crazy. So anyways, what do you think? On this list, I would tell you, and I'm going to ask you this right now, on this list, where would you have Josh McDaniels? And you could argue, yes, he has 2 bad head coaching stints. Sure, I'm not going to disagree. But I think, though, that was more of the management said, hey, we want to go a different direction. He never finished out 2 full seasons on those teams. I think, and so that's tough. It's all about being a coach is the right place, right time, right personnel. That's it. That's what it comes down to. There's been great coaches that come from college to go try to coach in the NFL, and they do poorly because they're not able to necessarily get the exact players they want. Recruiting is much different in college than it is going out and drafting. Now, there's similar concepts. When someone's a unrestricted free agent, you can go out and get them. And so, and now in college, obviously, money's involved with NIL, but it's crazy. Blows my mind. And I think Josh McDaniels, when he does well for the Patriots, I think he'll get another opportunity somewhere as a head coach, but we'll see what he decides to do. So anyways, on this list, where do you think, back onto what my question was going to be, where do you think that he should be on this list? I think that in all reality, he should be in that top 3 right there. Make it top, so make the best of the best. He should be up there. That's in my mind a no-brainer. So what says you? Comment below. Would love to hear it. Next up, Drake May. Here's another, I wouldn't say sucker punch, but I just think this is funny. So all the rookie quarterbacks going into their sophomore year were ranked and given a comparison of, hey, at their best, who do they have the potential to be? And at their worst, who do they have the potential to be? So for instance, Jaden Daniels at his best, comparable would be Lamar Jackson. Worst would be Kyler Murray, which really, that's Kyler Murray has I think a lot of people can hate on Kyler Murray, but I think a lot of people would much rather have Kyler Murray on their team than their current quarterback situation they have at the moment. But anyways, Caleb Williams was funny. His was at his best. I can't even remember. It was Jordan Love. At his best, Jordan Love. And then he was the only one at his worst. Everyone at their worst had an actual quarterback. At Caleb Williams' worst, it said bust. So it was, I don't know. I guess that's what you get when you paint your fingernails. So anyways, it's, and so anyways, just hilarious. But anyways, at his worst, I think this is crazy because I think the comparison with Daniel Jones, guy, he's out of Duke, played forever with the Giants, now with the Colts. I think that's an awful comparison. And the reason I say that is because, yes, Daniel Jones was very mobile. He can move. He was athletic, very inconsistent with throws, and not a strong arm, not great with the deep ball. And those 2 things right there are 2 things that Drake May has shown he excels at. So saying that Daniel Jones, that making this comparison, I think is stupid. And again, I think it's, again, very disrespectful. I'm not always, and I will always say, I've said this before, I'm not huge on comparing players to current players right now because Drake May is who? Drake May. But to say at his worst, he's Daniel Jones, I think that's disrespectful. Again, Daniel Jones could be the starter for the Colts this year. Who knows? But to say that they could be a comparison if that's Drake May at his worst. Again, Drake May has an incredibly stronger arm than Daniel Jones and is incredibly more accurate. So I don't line up there. Trevor Lawrence, I don't think that's awful. But again, I think Trevor Lawrence has dealt with some issues down in Jacksonville. Drake May is Drake May. I think he adds a lot more to the table. He's athletic and he has that accuracy, the deep arm, and he can fight. And he has that crazy competitive spirit. Now, the other thing too that they mentioned was comparing him, let's say again, to Daniel Jones and the lack of deep throws. Let's not forget last year, the man had trouble throwing deep throws because his line was like Swiss cheese. So you got to give the man a grain of salt. But his arm strength is not a question for me. The deep ball is not a question for me. He proved that last year at times. Remember his first ever touchdown pass, I believe, was 40 yards, Kayshon Boutte up the sideline. I think it was against the Texans. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that sounds right. It was a beautiful, beautiful right in the basket. But to say that is just disrespectful. And Joe Milton, when he came last year, he had a rocket arm. And I think a lot of people, saw that. But Drake May's arm was not far off from that. Incredibly strong arm. So Daniel Jones, not a good comparison. Not a good comparison. So anyways, comment below. Tell me what you think. Josh McDaniels, where do you think he should be ranked on that list as well? Maybe give me your ceiling for Drake May this year. What do you think his potential, let's say his touchdown to interception ratio, as well as yards, passing yards? Comment below. Tell me what you think. We'll talk later. Hit the subscribe button. Peace.